Good to see you, children. Top of the morning to you. Students, be safe, be healthy, and be knowledgeable. Let us discuss these things that is, how to be safe, how to be healthy, and how to be a knowledgeable person in our part 1, that is, widen our knowledge part. Right. Shall we proceed with that? First, let us discuss how to be safe. This COVID spreads primarily from person to person. So, fighting this disease is our joint responsibility, right? Yes. Protect yourself and others by making the following simple precautions. Clean your hands often. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Limit social gathering. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects and surfaces. Main thing is wear the mask. By following these simple steps, we will be safe as well as make others too safe. Next, how to be healthy. The food you eat plays a key aspect in determining your overall health and immunity. So, focus on a protein rich diet to keep you good and regularly consume vegetables and fruits. There are several herbs that help in boosting immunity, like garlic, basil leaves, and black cumin. Then drink 8 to 10 glasses of water every day to stay hydrated. Hydration will help flush out the toxins from the body and lower the chances of flu. Then a good diet should be followed by an exercise. So remember to exercise regularly. Next main thing, de-stress yourself by practicing meditation. So, the following self care guidelines as preventive measures and to boost immunity with special reference to respiratory health. Drink warm water throughout the day. Apply ghee, sesame oil, or coconut oil in both the nostrils to keep the nostrils clean. Inhale steam with mint leaves. So, follow these things to be healthy. Next, we are going to discuss about how to be a knowledgeable person. Yes. How to be a knowledgeable person? By gaining a knowledge every day. Okay, by gaining a knowledge every day. So, people who like to learn new things massively enhance their curious, knowledge seeking attitude. Makes it easy to gain knowledge in any field. So, a curious mind is as fertile as a turtle. It is filled with insightful questions and actively seeks answers. Because curious minds ask questions. These questions spring from their deep understanding of a phenomenon, and questions arise when they hit a brick wall. Gathering knowledge, learning is a lifelong endeavor. Pay attention to the world around you to look for new opportunities to learn. Keep an open mind. You will be quite knowledgeable. So, information changes constantly, be it science, literature, or even woodworking. So, children, keep learning on your chosen topics. Now you're clear about how to be safe, how to be healthy, and how to be a knowledgeable person, right? This is part 2. In this part, we are going to continue our previous class topic, that is a gift of chapels written by Vasanta Surya. Before that, let us quickly recall what we have discussed in our last class. Shall we? One afternoon, Mridu went to her aunt Rukumani's house. She went there to meet her cousins Lalli, Ravi, and Meena. Ravi dragged her to the backyard. There, inside a torn football, lay a very small kitten, drinking milk. Meena said they had found the creature outside the gate that morning, but it was kept secret. Amma had a fear that Party would go away if she knows about the cat in the house. Ravi had succeeded by tact in getting a little milk for the kitten. The children named it Mahendran. It was a fine breed of cat. Ravi gave a detailed account of the cat's family and relatives. He said the cat was a descendant of the Mahabalipuram Rishi cat. Meena and Mridu smiled at his cooked up story. The cat was frightened to hear Ravi's sound. He fled from his place. Lalli was learning to play the violin. She wasn't doing well, although the music master was trying his best to make her learn. Students, take page number 22. Now I am going to explain part 2. Mridu crept up to the window. Mridu crept up to the window. So underline the word crept. Yes, and write the meaning. Moved slowly and noiselessly. Okay, moved slowly and noiselessly. Okay, so crept is the past tense for the word creep. Clear, children? So crept is the past tense for the word creep. Lally was sitting a little distance away, awkwardly holding her violin and bowstring. So underline the word awkwardly and write weirdly. 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 Awkwardly, weirdly. And bowstring means a stick like piece of equipment which is used to play the violin. Clear, children? So bowstring means a stick like piece of equipment which is used to play the violin. Her elbows jutting out and her eyes glazed with concentration. Underline the word jutting and write the meaning sticking out further than the surrounding surface. So jutting means sticking out further than the surrounding surface. And word glazed means filled. Glazed, filled. Next, concentration. Underline the word concentration and write focus. Concentration means focus. In front of her, with most of his back to the window, was a bony figure of the music master. Okay, bony figure of the music master. So underline the word bony and write skeleton like. Skeleton, skeleton, skeleton like. He had a mostly bald head with a fringe of oiled black hair falling around his ears and an old fashioned tuft. Now underline the word fringe and write the meaning. The part of your hair that is cut so that it hangs over your forehead. Do you understand the meaning for fringe? The part of your hair that is cut so that it hangs over your forehead. And then tuft, a small amount of hair growing together. So underline the word tuft, that is an old fashioned tuft. Tuft means a small amount of hair growing together. A gold chain gleamed around his leathery neck, and a diamond ring glittered on his hand as it glided up and down the stem of the violin. A large foot stuck out from beneath his gold bordered vesti edge, and he was beating time on the floor with his scrawny big toe. So underline the word gleamed and write shone. Gleamed, shone. Leathery, meaning flexible. Leathery, underline the word leathery and write meaning flexible. Glittered, yes, sparkled. Glittered, sparkled. Glided, moved along smoothly. Okay, glided means moved along smoothly. So leathery, flexible, gleamed, shone, glittered, sparkled, glided, moved along smoothly. So Mridu moved noiselessly and slowly up to the window. She saw Lally sitting a little distance away, holding her violin and bowstring in a weird position. So her elbows were jutting and her eyes were filled with concentration. In front of her, with most of his back to the window, was the music master, who looked like a skeleton. He was almost bald with a fringe of oily black hair around his ears and a traditional type of tuft. There was a shiny gold chain around the master's leathery neck. So there was a diamond ring on his hand which gleamed as it glided up and down the stem of the violin. A large foot was sticking out from his gold bordered dhoti, and his large scrawny big toe was moving according to the rhythm of the violin. Moving to the next paragraph, he played a few notes Lally stumbled behind him on her violin, which looked quite helpless and unhappy in her hands. What a difference! The music master's notes seemed to float up and settle perfectly into the invisible tracks of the melody. It was like the wheels of a train fitting smoothly into the rails and whizzing along, as Ravi said. Mridu stared at that huge, be-ringed hand moving effortlessly up the violin stem, making lovely music. Next, underline the word stumbled, meaning followed haltingly. Stumbled, meaning followed haltingly. Helpless, something which cannot be helped. Something which cannot be helped. Float, yes, go up slowly in the air. Go up slowly in the air. Settle, fit, or go into place. So here settle means fit or go into place. Invisible. Invisible. I think you know the meaning for this. Yes, something is not visible. So invisible, something is not visible. Okay, next. Be ringed. Be ringed. The music master is wearing a ring. The music master is wearing a ring. Effortlessly, without any effort. Okay, effortlessly, without any effort. Children, I hope that you are writing the meaning for the hard words. Right? So the music master played a few notes. Lally tried to follow him on her violin, but the violin looked helpless and unhappy in her hands, as though it wasn't being used properly. There was a lot of difference between Lally and the music master's melody. So the notes which the master looked as though they were floating up and fitting perfectly into the tracks of the melody, which were not visible. It was exactly what Ravi said. Yes, it was exactly what Ravi said. Mridu couldn't take her eyes off the hand which was effortlessly up and down the stem, making melodious music. This was the same hand which had the ring on it. Squawk! There was Lally derailing again. Amma! Came a wail from the gate. Amma oh! So squawk means screech, that is high pitched noise. So squawk, underline the word squawk and write screech. Wail, cry. So Lally made the same screeching noise, which meant she had started derailing again. Then suddenly there came a wail from the gate. Someone was calling Rukmani. Next paragraph. Ravi, send that beggar away, cried his mother from the back veranda, where she was chatting with Tapi. He has been coming here every day for the past week, and it's time he found another house to beg from. Patti explained to Tapi. So, after hearing the wail, Ravi's mother cried from the back veranda, asking him to send the beggar away. At the back veranda, she, Tapi, and Patti were talking with one another. Patti then explained to Tapi that the beggar had been coming to their house every day for the past week, and now it was time for him to find another house to beg from. Mridu and Meena followed Ravi out. The beggar was already in the garden, making himself quite at home. He had spread his upper cloth under the neem tree and was leaning against its trunk, apparently prepared to take a little snooze while he waited for the arms to appear. Go away, said Ravi sternly. My party says it's time you found another house to beg from. So underline the word apparently and write obviously. Apparently, obviously. Spelling OBVIOUSLY, obviously. Snooze, short sleep. Snooze, short sleep. Alms, 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 money or clothes or food given to poor people. Clear, children? So, alms means money or clothes or food given to poor people. Next, sternly, strictly, or sharply. Sternly, yes, strictly or sharply. So Ravi went towards the beggar, and Mridu and Meena followed him. The beggar had already started becoming comfortable in the garden. He had spread his upper cloth under the neem tree and was leaning against the tree trunk. He was preparing to take a little sleep while he waited for someone to give him alms. Ravi went to the beggar and told him to go away. He also said that his grandmother says that it was time for the beggar to find another house to beg from. Moving to the next para, the beggar opened his eyes very wide and gazed at each of the children one by one. The ladies of this house, he said at last in a voice choked with feeling, are very kind souls. I have kept my body and soul together on their generosity for a whole week. I cannot believe that they would turn me away. He raised his voice. Amma, Amma, oh! Sad his wail might be, but it certainly wasn't feeble. It began in a deep, strong rumble somewhere in his withered belly and came booming out of his mouth, with its few remaining teeth stained brown with beetle chewing. Now underline the word gazed, to look at something for a long time. So gazed means to look at something for a long time. Choked, filled with feelings which were making him sound choked. So choked, filled with feelings which were making him sound choked. Next, kept my body and soul together. So underline the phrase kept my body and soul together, meaning managed to stay alive. Very clear, children? So kept my body and soul together means managed to stay alive. Next, generosity. Yes, the quality of being generous. Okay, the quality of being generous. Feeble, weak. So feeble, weak. Withered, withered. Something which was weak and dead like. Withered means something which was weak and dead like. Booming, so underline the word booming, echoing. Booming, echoing. So beetle chewing means a type of smokeless tobacco. Beetle chewing means a type of smokeless tobacco. So, after listening to Ravi, the beggar opened his eyes and gazed at Ravi, Meena, and Mridu. Then he said that the ladies of the house were very kind. It was due to their generosity that the beggar was able to stay alive. And he also said that it was unbelievable that they wouldn't give him any alms and turn him away. He said this in a choked voice. He then raised his voice and cried for Rukmani. However, the wail was not feeble. It started in a deep, strong rumble in his withered belly and came booming out of his mouth, that is, echoing out of his mouth. The few remaining teeth he had were brown in color due to beetle chewing, that is, due to a type of smokeless tobacco. Next para. Ravi, tell him there is nothing left in the kitchen. Called Rukmani. And he's not to come again. Tell him that. She sounded fed up. Ravi didn't have to repeat it all to the beggar. What his mother said had been easy for them all to hear there under the neem tree. The beggar sat up and sighed. So underline fed up and write meaning tired and unhappy. Fed up, tired and unhappy. So Rukmani told Ravi to tell the beggar that there was nothing left in the kitchen for her to give the beggar. Also, she told Ravi that the beggar is not supposed to come again. She sounded fed up. However, there was no need to repeat this to the beggar. Rukmani had said it so loud that everyone could hear it clearly. So the beggar sat up and sighed. Moving to next. I will go, he said wearily. Only let me have a rest here under this tree. The sun is so hot, and tar has melted on the road. My feet are already blistered. He stretched out his feet to show large pink peeling blisters on the soles of his bare feet. So the beggar said that he would go, but after a few minutes' rest. He then explained that the sun was so hot that the tar had melted on the road and his feet were already blistered. He then showed the blisters to the children. I suppose he doesn't have the money to buy chappals. Mridu whispered to Meena and Ravi. Have you got an old pair in the house somewhere? I don't know, said Ravi. Mine are too small to fit his feet, or I would have given them to him. And his feet were larger than Mridu's and Meena's. After Mridu watching the beggar's feet, she whispered to Meena and Ravi, saying that she thought that the beggar doesn't have any money to buy chappals for himself. So she then asked if they had an old pair in the house. Ravi didn't know. He said that his feet are smaller than the beggar's, or he would have given his slippers to him. Also, his feet were larger than both the girls. Moving to the next. The beggar was shaking out his upper cloth and tightening his dhoti. He raised his eyes and looked fearfully at the road, gleaming in the afternoon heat. He needs something on his feet, Meena said, her big eyes filling. It's not fair. So, eyes filling means with tears. Okay, eyes filling with tears. So, the beggar was shaking out his upper cloth and tightening his dhoti, meaning that he was preparing to go back to the road. He looked fearfully at the road, which was shining in the afternoon heat. He was afraid of the melted tar. Meena then said that the beggar needed something on his feet, right? As her eyes filled with tears, she complained that it was not fair that the beggar had to live like that. Moving to the next. Shh, said Ravi. I'm thinking about it, blubbering. It's not fair, it's not fair. Isn't going to help? In 2 minutes, he will be frying his feet on that road. What he needs is a pair of chappals. So, where do we get them? Come, let's search the house. He pushed Mridu and Meena into the house. So, underline the word blubbering means crying uncontrollably. Blubbering, crying uncontrollably. So Ravi told Meena to be quiet. He said that he was thinking about what to do, and crying and repeating a phrase wasn't going to help. He said that in 2 minutes the beggar would be out on the road, and so he needed a pair of chappals. Then Ravi pushed the girls into the house and said that they need to search the house to get a suitable pair of chappals for the beggar. Next para. Just as she stepped into the veranda, Mridu's eyes fell on the odd looking chappals she had noticed when she arrived. Ravi, she whispered to him, whose are those? Ravi turned and glanced at the shabby looking but sturdy old slippers. He beamed and nodded. These are just the right size, he said, picking them up. Mridu and Meena followed him nervously back into the garden. Now, meaning for hard words. Odd looking, and then odd looking, and right meaning strange looking. So, odd looking, strange looking. Glanced, underline the word glanced, took a quick look at something. Glanced means took a quick look at something. Okay, shabby looking. Shabby looking means dirty looking. So, shabby looking, dirty looking. Sturdy, steady. So, meaning for sturdy, steady. Next word, beamed. beamed, smiled proudly. So beamed, smiled proudly. Next word, nodded, shook his head in agreement. Nodded means shook his head in agreement. As soon as Mridu stepped into the veranda, her eyes fell on the pair of chappals she saw when she arrived. So she called Ravi and whispered, asking whom those chappals belonged to. Ravi turned and gave the chappals a quick look and smiled. He said that those were the ones the beggar needed. He picked them up. The girls followed him nervously back into the garden. Moving to the next para. Here, said Ravi to the beggar, dropping the slippers in front of the old man. Wear these and don't come again. The beggar stared at the slippers, hurriedly flung his towel over his shoulder, pushed his feet into them, and left, muttering a blessing to the children. In a minute, he had vanished around the corner of the street. So, underline the word flung, meaning through. Flung means through. So, Ravi dropped the slippers in front of the beggar and commanded him to wear it and never return. The beggar first stared at the chappals, then threw his towel over his shoulders. He quickly put them on and left, blessing the children. In a minute, he had vanished. Next para. The music master came out of the house and took an unappreciative look at the three of them sitting quietly under the tree, playing marbles. Then he searched for his chappals in the veranda where he had put them. So underline the word unappreciative, disapproving. Okay, unappreciative means disapproving. So the music lesson was over and the music master came out of the house. He looked at Meena, Mridu, and Ravi disapprovingly. The three of them were sitting quietly under the neem playing with marbles. Then the music master began searching for his chappals in the veranda, and veranda was the place where he had put his chappals. Moving to the next para. Lalli, he called. After a few moments, she hurried up to him. Have you seen my chappals, my dear? I remember having kept them here. Ravi, Mrudu, and Meena silently watched Lalli and the music master search every corner of the veranda. He scurried around, looking over the railing and crouching near the flower pots to look between them. Brand new they were. I went all the way to Mount Road to buy them. He went on saying, they cost a whole month's fees. Do you know? So underline the word scurried and write moved hurriedly. Scurried means moved hurriedly. So crouching, sitting in a squat position. So crouching means sitting in a squat position. So when the music master could not find his chappals, he called his student Lali. She came running towards him, and when she reached him, the music master asked if she had seen his chappals. He also said that he remembered keeping them on the veranda. The three children, that is Ravi, Meena, and Ridu, silently watched Lalli and the music master search the whole veranda carefully for the chappals. The music master, ran around looking over the railing of the veranda and crouching over the flower pots, that is, sitting in a squat position over the flower pots which were placed there. He kept on saying that the chappals were brand new, difficult to get and expensive to buy. Soon Lalli went in to tell her mother. Rukumani appeared, looking harassed, with Party following her. Where could they be? It's really quite upsetting to think someone might have stolen them. So many vendors come to the door, worried Party. So underline the word harassed and write the meaning troubled with anxiety. Spelling for anxiety Anxiety. So harassed troubled with anxiety. Upsetting, underline the word upsetting and write disappointing. Upsetting, disappointing. Vendor, shopkeepers. Vendor, shopkeepers. So, after Lally helped the music master in the search of his chappals and had failed to find them, she went inside the house to tell the elders about it. Rukmani came out in the veranda. Looking worried, Pati followed her. Pati said in tension that it was disappointing to think that someone stole the chappals. She also said that many shopkeepers came there and it was possible that one of the shopkeepers stole them. Next para. Rukumani caught sight of Ravi, Mrudu, and Meena sitting under the tree. Have you children? She began, and then, seeing they were curiously quiet, went on more slowly. Seen anyone lurking around the veranda? A sharp V shaped line had formed between her eyebrows. Another straight, tighter one appeared in place of her usually soft, pleasant mouth. Rukmani was angry, thought Mridu with a shiver. She wouldn't be so upset if she knew about the poor beggar with sores on his feet. She tried to tell herself. Now Rukmani suddenly saw the three children sitting under the tree and thought of asking them. She began to ask, but when she saw that the children were quieter than usual, she went on more slowly. A sharp V shaped line had formed between her eyebrows. As a mother, she was able to find out that in some way the children were responsible for the missing chapels. This had made her angry. Now Mridu realized this and was scared. She then thought that if Rukmani knew the reason why they gave the chapels to the beggar, she would not be upset and she would not scold them. Taking a deep breath, she cried, Rukmani. There was a beggar here. Poor thing, he had such boils on his feet. So, said Rukmani grimly, turning to Ravi. You gave the music master's chapels to that old beggar. Who turns up here? So, now underline the word grimly and write meaning in a very serious manner. So, grimly means in a very serious manner. So Mridu took a deep breath and told her aunt that there had been a beggar there who had boils on his feet. Now Rukmani turned to Ravi and asked if they had given the chapels which belonged to the music master to the beggar which came there. Children these days groaned Pati. Amma, didn't you tell me about Karna who gave away everything he had? Even his gold earrings. He was so kind and generous. So Pati groaned about how irresponsible children these days are. Ravi complained to his mother. He said that she had told him about Karna, who had given away everything he had, even his gold earrings. He had been kind and generous, and Ravi did the same. Silly, snapped Rukmani. Karna didn't give away other people's things. He only gave away his own. But my chappals wouldn't have fitted the beggar's feet. Ravi rushed brashly on. And Amma, if they did fit, would you really not have minded? So underline the word snapped and write scolded. Snapped means scolded. Rushed, said urgently. Said urgently. Underline the word brashly, shamelessly. Brashly, shamelessly. So Rukmani scolded Ravi and said that Karna gave away his own belongings, not others. Ravi then said his chappals wouldn't have fit the beggar's feet. Then he asked shamelessly if she wouldn't have minded if he really would have given away his own chappals. Moving to the next, Ravi, said Rukmani, very angry now. Go inside this minute. She hurried indoors and brought out Gopu Mama's hardly worn new chappals. These should fit you, sir. Please put these on. I'm so sorry. My son has been very naughty. The music master's eyes lit up. he put them on, trying not to look too happy. Well, I suppose this will have to do. These days, children have no respect for elders. What to do? A Hanuman incarnate. Only Rama can save such a naughty fellow. Rukumani's eyes flashed. She didn't seem to like Ravi being called a monkey, even a holy monkey. She stood stiff and straight by the front door. It was clear she wanted him to leave quickly. Now underline lit up means filled with happiness. So the music master's eyes lit up. That is the music master's eyes filled with happiness. Incarnate. That means a god taking a form of a human. So a Hanuman incarnate. Incarnate means a god taking a form of a human. Next, flashed. Shone brightly in anger. Okay, flashed, shone brightly in anger. So Rukumani's eyes flashed. So Rukumani's eyes shone brightly in anger. When Ravi asked the question, Rukumani became more angry and ordered him to go inside the house. Then she hurried inside and brought out Gopu Mama's new chappals, which he didn't wear too much. Rukumani gave the chappals to the music master while apologizing on behalf of her son. The music master's eyes lit up and he put them on, trying not to look too happy. He then said that he would have to take those chappals as there was no other choice. He then added that the children those days have no respect for their elders and there was nothing they could do. He then called Ravi a Hanuman incarnate and also said that only Lord Rama could save such a naughty fellow. However, that made Rukmani angry and she didn't want her son to be called a monkey, not even a holy monkey. She stood stiff and straight by the front door. That gesture clearly indicated that she wanted the music master to leave quickly because he called Ravi a naughty monkey. Coming to the last para, when he had clattered off in his new chapel, she said, Bridu, come in and have some tiffin. Honestly, how do you children think of such things? Thank God, your Gopu Mama doesn't wear his chappals to work. As she walked towards the kitchen with Mrudu and Meena, she suddenly began to laugh. But he is always in such a hurry to throw off his shoes and socks and get into his chappals as soon as he comes home. What's your mama going to say this evening when I tell him I gave his chappals to the music master? Now, after wearing the chappals, the music master went off making noise with his new chappals. Rukmani then asked Mridu to come in and have some tiffin. As she went inside with Meena and Mridu, she asked how children thought of doing such things. She then thanked God, saying that it was a good thing. Gopu Mama didn't wear his chappals to work. But as she walked towards the kitchen, she began to laugh, thinking that she said that Gopu Mama was always in a hurry to throw off his shoes and socks and to wear his new chappals as soon as he came home. She then wondered what he was going to say when he would get to know that she gave his chappals to the music master. So, children, what lesson do you learn from this story? Yes, to help people in need. So, in this story, the beggar was in need of these slippers. He had blisters in his feet. They did the right thing. Gopu Mama can buy another pair of slippers, but the beggar did not because he didn't have the money to buy them. We should help people in need. There is no harm in giving away a bit of those things that are surplus to us, right? We should give food, dresses, and sweaters to the poor. For us, that might not have much value, but it can save someone's life. Let us discuss the character sketch of Ravi. in the story A Gift of Chappals, written by Vasanta Surya. Ravi is a young boy who is kind hearted and compassionate. This can be known through his deed throughout the story. He gets home an abandoned kitten, even though the people at his home might not agree to keep it. He secretly keeps the kitten and feeds him with milk all in secret. He is a loving and caring boy. He loves to have friends. He is very sharp and intelligent in the field of history. He is a generous person filled with humanity. His generosity and humanity can be proved by the way he wanted to help the beggar who had no chapels and whose feet might get burnt in under the hot sun. As a whole, he is generous, intelligent, and compassionate, the qualities anybody would love to find in a person.